over here, and aren't they adorable? My Descendant's face and the little puppet, you know, like I think they look alike. I don't know. Anyways, I just thought it was cool. So this video is about sharing with you guys tour builds, so you are able to basically give you more options to possibly finish the erosion challenge 35, as I like to call it, or if you prefer the erosion challenge mode mission 5, okay, right here. So what's going on is that only a few people in the world, okay, are able to finish this mission 5 with a character other than Serena, who is a different kind, I would say, a different breed, alright? So I would like to help you guys, you know, and I will give you tour builds with Blair. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. Since various tour builds, I will be a bit faster and talk a bit less, so similar amount total, but you know. So the first build, which I think is kind of cool because it's no one has made that before, okay, is truly deadly cuisine. So basically the giant fireballs. So basically you are going to throw your giant balls. Sorry for that. You're going to throw your giant balls around and kill many enemies with it, okay? If that sounds okay to you. So anyways, no more humor. So what you want to do is basically play mostly, I would say, with Malevolent, unlike the other build where you do not choose Malevolent or Barley, okay? So you use Malevolent, and to finish off some big bosses, or to just even start, like let's say there is enemies, to start things off, you just throw your big ball on the bosses, okay? Then you use Malevolent on the rest, okay? So that's kind of the idea. Really, it's so straightforward that there's no point in explaining it further. Using the first ability does raise your skill critical hit rate. So if you use it once or twice right before throwing your giant ball into enemies, that helps a lot, I'd say, because if you crit, that's a whole different story. And with this build, you have a 62% critical hit rate, okay? And every time you hit, you use your first ability, okay, that increases. That 62% become like near 70, whatever, you know, it's 5% each time, okay? The build is all about getting this critical hit, with your ability. So emergency measures, skill insight, skill concentration, yeah, basically the whole, well, as much as I possibly could get, okay? I would even say that you can go as far as doing that, but well, it's kind of up to you. It's it's a big move. So you also have the basic HP. So with this build, I went with increased HP and Steam Accelerant, alright? And yeah, there we go. For the rest of the build, I have an insane reactor, okay? Skill critical hit damage and additional 6 skill ATK when attacking Legion of Immortality, which is the enemy type you find in this dungeon, alright? And this is actually doing more damage than the skill critical hit damage thingy that Legion of Immortality. It's really a lot. Then well, actually for this, because you're going to use Malevolent a lot with this build, unlike the other one, I would suggest going with a Shell Crusher memory, okay, and then use a Shell Crusher processor. And here, you just go with anything that has HP. So you could go with ascending armor, than something like, then here volcanic sensor, which gives you HP recovery modifier, some buff, okay, up to you. For the inversion reinforcement with this version, I would say it is the same as the other one. You know, like you might, like, yeah, I guess you want to go with you could go with this, okay? That's what I would go for. So Malevolent still, really big focus on the Malevolent. Toxic focus rounds and arcade circulation tactic. Now for the arcade tuning, there you go. It is the same for both builds, okay? Alright, so that's it for the first build. Now let's cover the second one. Oh, and yeah, sorry, Malevolent says you use it a lot with this build. There you go, there you have the build. only a few seconds, you know, because I make it fast. There you go. And yeah. Okay, now killer recipe, which to me is a bit cooler. The breed comes from a Japanese player called Siu Tonasuke. I probably just destroyed that name, but you know, I just do my best. So he had this idea of using the skill all the time, which you will. So what you want to do with this build is to use the third skill and to keep shaking your camera from left and right like crazy, okay? Because somehow, it resets it resets the ability, and the ability hits again immediately. So it doesn't just hit like boom, boom, boom. You just go ta 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 ta, okay? It just hits way more and you're going to do a lot more damage right away. It's maybe a glitch. Whatever the reason is, it's super cool and lets you just destroy the dungeon as player with his third ability. And the fourth ability also can finish off any bosses except for obviously the big bosses. There is three of them that are a bit different but still take a lot of damage from the massive Kamehameha sort of attack you are going to do here. It's called Deadly Fist. The build is a bit different, so you have HP sorry, HP amplification to still keep mana because you're going to use a lot of mana, okay? You still have you know, critical hit rate, so front lines here with a so critical hit rate of 64%. Basically it's a whole bunch of damage with this one, and also a good amount of critical hit rate. Focus on fire, you know, to make sure you get your cooldown. Yeah, you see the point, you know, HP collector very important too. Yeah, so the difference here is that we are going to use a Firebrand auxiliary power. At least I do. You can not do that and use you know, the other set that people usually use for the Malevolent, but since you do use the ability most of the time, I really like to go with that. Okay, I really like to go with his set. I feel like it is his, like he owns it to me, and yeah, that's what I decided to go with. So very fun. You don't have a lot of HP. You're most likely going to die once or twice, but you will still finish the level, which is the point, right? So there we go. Inversion reinforcement. With this build, I actually went with this right here, I think. Or did I? I'm not even sure, but that's fine. Anyways, yeah. And yeah, for the arcade tuning, same as the previous build. Boop. And there we go. Well, we both already showed them. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy with playing Blair. I don't know, like finish that challenge 5 with any one of our Serena. You know, like it is such a fun challenge. Little tip for the ones who maybe feel like you are not able to finish that challenge 5 mission. Okay, just enjoy playing the game. Just grind, you know, like go from mission 27, then 28, 29, 30. Make sure you become really good at these missions, and then do challenge missions one by one, and same thing again. Become really good in each of these missions slowly. You know, take the grind up to a new level each time until you reach this mission, and then you will see things clicking, things happening for you. Okay, just don't I would say don't overestimate how much you can do on a short run, and instead, you know, do not underestimate how much you can do on the long run. Okay, so I'm talking like a month or two. Okay, anyways, see you next video. Thanks for watching this long one, and bye bye. Have fun playing Blair, guys.